All right, we are live here. So this is a special edition GameFi Rundown because we have the launch of Illuvium coming in. At this point, it's less than 24 hours, right? I think we already got Illuvium Zero as a surprise today, but the open world comes out in like I don't know, 16, 20 hours or something from now. Um, but yeah, this is going to be a good show, doing a different style. Instead of like different segments, we're going to have different guests. So every 15 minutes for the next hour and 15, we're gonna have a new guest coming on, and I'd say some of them are pretty good guests. If I get one little confirmation just to make sure, I'll let you know. But our fifth guest is gonna be one that I think you guys will all love to see. Um, but let's just bring in the first guest right here, the one and only TSG.
Hey,
So
what's up, guys?
hey, glad to have you on. First time doing this rundown live, episode 50, games launching. Everything's getting pretty exciting. We just had Illuvium Zero just come out of nowhere this morning.
Mhm.
But first off, how you doing? You've been playing this morning?
Not so much. I've got it on one of my screens where I'm kind of just tapping along as I get my work done. I'm not
Yeah,
diving in. I wish I could, but
yeah,
yeah, it's on one of my screens, and I'm definitely tapping away there. Yeah. Are you
yeah,
guys? Have you guys started?
yeah. I've been doing kind of the same thing. I'm trying to manage four different plots right now. But
Yeah. Jeez.
what I started to do was I have a tier three and then two tier twos and a tier one. At one point, I was just like, I can't even worry about the tier twos and tier one right now. I'm just going to
Yeah.
focus on that tier three. Once that is kind of like up to speed, maybe
Self-sustaining.
I'll start focusing on the other ones. But it's
That's
kind of a lot in the early stages.
Yeah, that's my thought process as well. Like I've got two tier threes and a couple of tier ones. I'm not even worried about tier ones, and I'm only
Yeah,
focusing on one tier three for the time being.
yeah,
When I say focus, like again, I'm not even 100% on that, so there's no way I'm splitting that between multiple
yeah,
tiers, so multiple plots. So yeah, 100% agree.
yeah. I couldn't keep jumping around. Um, yeah. Are you playing Jimbo? No, you don't. Yeah, you have a little bit of land, right? Oh, we
To
can't
no
hear you.
surprise.
Oh,
Are
there
you
you go.
sure?
No, I can hear you now. For a second, I couldn't.
Yeah, I have two pieces of land. I have a tier 2 and a tier 1, but it comes at no surprise that I have not played them yet. Illuvium Zero is just not my kind of game. I will
Yeah,
eventually get them once like the hype has died down, but I don't think it's worth spending time in Illuvium Zero if I don't really enjoy it when I could be playing Overworld. You know what I mean? That's
Mhm.
what I'm
yeah,
going to be doing. I can play Illuvium Zero when I get back to work.
yeah, yeah. Makes sense. Um, but yeah, so for this show, me and Jimbo, we each prepared a question for each of these guests, and then we have another one if we have time that we're going to ask everybody. So TSG, the question that I had prepared for you was, what are we going to see with this alliance program that we have going on? Are we going to see a new influx of new create? Are you already seeing this? New creators coming in, bigger creators. Yeah. What is this going to do for Illuvium?
Yeah, so I think to set kind of expectations right, like it's not going to be an immediate thing where everyone kind of sees it and says, oh my God," and jumps right in. Obviously, we're seeing some of that, but I wouldn't expect to say we get, I don't know, XQC or some of these guys jumping and be like, "Oh, this is amazing." What is going to happen is it's a long term play where it's a slow progression. Where I've got a couple of big guys in that I know are probably going to do quite well with it. We start highlighting the wins, and then others start to see, damn, this is this what's like, when you're walking down the street and you kind of don't know of a party, but you start hearing about it, and you're like, yo, damn, this looks kind of cool. What's going on here? Then you step into the club for a little bit. Like it's that kind of idea where we have a couple of guys, they make a lot of noise, make the party seem cool over here, which it is. And that's what starts to bring people in over time. It's not going to be an instant boom, but no, there are some names that I have got uh, that I mean, we've got like this is not like a big name, obviously, but we obviously saw Frobe come back as well, and I think that's kind of a kind of clue of what's to come, right? We have people like Frobe who's focused 100% on TFT. There's a couple of other guys that we will be seeing a return and new faces of some people here.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if I make, let's say the first month I come out and I make $300 from this, I
Mm-hmm.
share it, and they look at my channel, they're like, he's only got 2,500 subscribers. I
Mm-hmm.
have 20,000 subscribers. That means I could be making a few grand a month. And then, yeah, I think they'll come in, and then when that gets shared around some more, it's just going to start a snowball effect there.
100%. Yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of opportunities for just everyone in general. But I think that the guys that really win are going to win on a level that, I mean, we just haven't really seen before. Like, I know a couple of the guys in previous sales and previous previous sales and revenue generation initiatives, they've generated $200,000, $400,000. There's one guy I know who's done 1.2 mil in 2 months. So I mean, if you do the math on that real quick, let's just round it down to 1 mil. Let's say you do 1 mil and you are getting that 17.5, bro. That's 175. Like that's not chump change at
Yeah.
all. And in certain regions of the world, that is legitimately 5 years of an average salary. Like it's insane.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I was
once
gonna say
people start
I
hearing
could live
about that,
comfortably for a year. Yeah,
Some
yeah.
people would
good for
even
me.
call
For
that
sure.
Trump change.
But yeah, now some people once they see that again, like it's just going to be like I say, it's going to be a slow progression, but we definitely aren't going to see the impacts of it about 6 months in, 3 months in. I reckon that's when we really start to see it picking up.
Yep. What do you got, Jimbo?
So I'm not even sure if you can really answer this, but I have a few follow-up questions depending on what your answer will be.
Yeah,
Are there any fun partnerships with influencers we may know that
yeah,
you're willing to share?
yeah, for sure. I'm happy to share these. You guys know that we worked very closely with Liquid back in the day.
Mhm.
So, funnily enough, we actually have a couple of the guys coming back and playing. We have Racken, who's going to be coming back. We have Bubkin. Bubkin was ecstatic.
Love them.
Yeah, he's absolutely ecstatic. He was messaging me earlier today. Absolutely ecstatic to be coming back in. One of the guys that I'm very, very happy to get the feedback from was Snooty Boo. So we actually, a little bit of a short story here was I ended up getting Snooty early access with you guys or whoever else got it for Gauntlet. And I wanted to prep him for the stream. So I was like, hey, man, let's jump into it. You can actually see what it's about. And Frobe joined that call as well because Frobe actually, like, they've got a pretty good relationship there as well. So Frobe was backseating and I was trying my hardest. Like I was actually trying my hardest. Snooty had never played before at all, obviously, and he ended up winning, and I lost my mind. But the feedback was, I actually need to reply to him. I've got DMs there, but yeah, he's down to do community tournaments. Like he's fully into it, understanding that yes, it is an alpha. It's not as polished as TFT is, but understanding that there's going to be a ranger included. We have hyper. But there are some mechanics that differentiate it from TFT. But the feedback is that this is a game that he could play just for fun, which is exact. And again, this is a professional, not like a professional streamer. He's a professional competitive TFT player. So if that's the feedback we're getting on this, and I always try to be slightly conservative with it, kind of saying, hey, look, this is kind of like early TFT, maybe set 2, set 3. The feedback that I'm getting from both Frobe and Snooty is, bro, this is so far ahead of set 2 and 3 TFT. Like you guys are doing all right. So yeah, those are a couple of names that I can throw out. There are quite a few more, but I will say they probably won't all be going live day one. I think we want to scatter them out slightly, as that's probably going to be a little bit more impactful. But how are those names, Simbo? Do you recognize them?
No, I mean, of course I know Bobkin. Like the team
Yeah.
Team Liquid is literally my favorite org, so of course I know
Yeah,
everybody on
cool.
there. So yeah,
Yeah.
I'm super pumped, and I like the idea of staggering it instead of having everybody come in at the release. Because one of the main
Mhm.
things I was worried about for the release is that everybody comes in all day one and then gets burnt out. I think it's
Yeah.
better to see the player base, even if it starts at a lower player count, steadily rise over time. That to me would give me a lot of comfort and excitement for the future of Illuvium. So it's nice to hear that.
That's definitely my thought process as well. And yeah, there's a couple of guys in the Brazilian market as well, like Tex, TF Toddy. These guys are big guys in that region. So yeah, I think this is the first time that I can confidently say that the product we have, although not polished, stands on its own 2 feet. Like, I think this is the first time that I don't have any issue kind of going after them and saying, hey, check it out. Yeah, UI polishes. Yeah, like there are some things, but no, it's very, very much at a point that I'm quite happy with.
Yeah, I completely agree there. And so we're going to be having a new person come in every 15 minutes. So the next person is going to come in real quick. But I have one question that I wanted to throw to everybody. So maybe a quick answer here from you, TSG. But
Yeah.
for Illuvium in 10 years from now, when we look back at this point, what are we going to be saying? What are we going to be thinking about, from the early days of Illuvium?
What are we going to be saying? I can't believe I would say the people that have been here from the beginning are going to say, yo, I can't believe how far it's come. It's funny that you actually asked this question because I'm trying to push for it to go public, but internally we're sharing some of like the origins of Illuvium. I think the OGs,
I saw
real
that.
OGs. Yeah,
I saw
yeah,
some of that.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, you saw it. Yeah, so the
Yeah.
OGs know that Illuvium was originally called Criplets, and it was never meant to be like this
Excuse you?
overworld. Yeah, Criplets.
Triplets is wild.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
from like crypto triplets. Is that what they were saying?
I don't know why the reason, but Criplets.
That's a stupid name.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. But even the gameplay, man, like we saw some where over from the team. And again, I wasn't here from the very beginning, but if you look at what they originally had, I'm not willing to share it just because I don't think that we should. But looking at where we started to where it is now is like holy. And then where we are now compared to what I know Kieran's been quite vocal about multiplayer coming soon, combat coming soon. I say coming soon, but coming in the future. Like those things, we're gonna look back at this and be like, "Yo, do you remember when we used to shoot alluvials and they just ran away? Like they just ran away. Like what?
Yeah.
Like we're just gonna laugh and be like, "Yo, what the hell, man?" It's gonna feel like a completely different game, and we're gonna kind of laugh at each other. Remember when we used to go into this big world alone? Like, yo, what the hell? Like,
I mean,
what was that?
Just shoot the orbs that went in.
Yeah, yo, even the orbs.
There's already
Yeah,
people who probably don't even know what that is. Like,
yeah,
how crazy is
exactly.
that?
So
even
the guys,
even beyond that, like I remember a couple years ago sitting in the Discord talking with Viper, and I was gonna be like, "Can you believe there's gonna be a day where we're not just sitting in here waiting for the game to come out?" Like
yeah,
that to me is like you saying that right now to me gets me so excited from remembering that in the past, and we're about to have this game out that we have all loved, and some of us have even worked on. And it's just I don't want to say it's a dream come true because that's cheesy and cringe, but
no, but it is.
it's really exciting. Like it's awesome.
I will say, I don't care if it's great. It is. It's like a dream come true, man. All of us have been here, like all three of us, we've been here for a long
Over
time
3
supporting
years.
it. Yeah. Like I started as a content creator. I mean, Najif as well. You're now part time on the team. It's like, man, we
Yeah.
started.
We started
and-
like the same time, actually, right
Yeah,
around that same
yeah.
time.
Exactly. I think we might have, yeah, roughly around the same time. But yeah, it's just nuts, man. Seeing where we've gone, seeing where we've come, and yeah, once you guys jump in, I think Najif, you would have tried the tutorial internally, but yeah, I think Jimbo, once you check it out, the rest of the team, the rest of the community tries out the tutorial. They get introduced to the lore. They see it. This is the statement that always comes to mind now is, whoa, the foundation is set. We just need time now. The foundation is very much there. The world, the IP, everything is very much there. It's just, we need more time to build it out. But I promise you, we're going to get there. And it's going to be insane. So, yeah, I'm very excited for less than 24 hours. Stressed out, legit waking up every hour when I do get 4 hours of sleep, thinking that I missed out something, which I probably have. But yeah, it's almost here.
Yeah. Just the craziness, like from being I'm part-time on the Illuvium team, and I know you're full-time, but just this past day since they just kind of had that late minute or last minute announcement of Illuvium 0, like it's been crazy. I'm trying to get work done with that. I don't even know if I'm going to be able to really play it all tomorrow, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah, for sure.
Look at who we got in here.
Yo, big man Nicholas.
Hey, what's good, Nick?
What's going on? How we doing?
Good.
Yo,
Finally got you on this show. Finally
look
got you
at
on
the
this
big
show.
smile, man. That is the biggest smile I've seen Nick have in a long time.
We're on main net. Happy days.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, I'm stoked.
Yeah, well, at least with
I'm
Illuvium
having a
Zero.
blast.
Yeah. So we like we said, we had a question prepared for each of you, but I'm gonna go to the question that we're gonna ask everybody since TSG just answered it. So Nick, my question is, in 10 years when we look back at these days, these early days of Illuvium, like what are we gonna be saying? Are we gonna be like, oh, like, oh, you got in Amazon early, we got in Illuvium early? Like, what are we gonna be saying?
We're going to be saying we need seasonal servers and servers that are like fresh start servers. I think that's always the way with like the big MMOs, and you can only capture the magic of launch once, and I think it's a really special time. So I think we'll all be looking back, kind of wishing we could run it back, but it's lucky we're all here for it. We can dive in tomorrow, and yeah, it's going to be a time.
It's gonna be a time.
Yeah, I'm pumped.
Yeah, man.
Dude, I'm so pumped too. You've been playing Zero today?
Yeah, since launch, I've been blasting, man. We're level 50. We're min maxing hard. I've got the sweat dripping down my face.
Bro's back is stuck to his chair already. Level 15.
We're going hard. In my poop bucket, like can't
the poop bucket and the pee jug. I feel that.
Oh my goodness!
Did you get a little surf session in before you started playing?
Yeah, a bit of gym and a bit of a run, and now I'm just like set. And we'll run that back tomorrow. We'll do a bit of training, and then we'll just be blasting from launch.
Awesome. So one question I had for you specifically was, so I mean, if no one's aware here, this is Nick from Illuvium. I took over as Nick from Illuvium because now I'm the only Nick there. But Nick was a big part of Illuvium leading up until just I don't know 6 months ago. But you've been part of the team. You're still obviously very bullish on Illuvium, on the project. How does it feel to go from being like such an important part internally to now kind of just observing it from the outside?
Yeah, it's good. So yeah, I mean, like I'd be lying if I didn't say there was like times where it was a bit bittersweet, because obviously I really enjoyed working with so many people in the team, and the team are really bright. It's a real pleasure to work with a lot of the guys in there. There's like plenty of names who I really miss working with to some extent, right? But at the same time, it's also good to kind of kick back now and wait for the updates, and the updates are coming thick and fast. So that's really enjoyable. And then on the flip side, I was lucky enough to kind of link up with Annie and Lou and the ETH Lizards team. And we're going gangbusters there as well. So there's a couple of really cool projects that not even just for like my personal interest, but from a career kind of point of view, there's some really interesting things that we're doing, like obviously the Liz token launch, or we're also looking at like another AI kind of powered project, which is really exciting. So yeah, like from a project standpoint, we're working with some really great stuff and great people. So yeah, now I get to get to soak it all up and enjoy Illuvium as a customer.
Yeah, I was so glad to see you like link up with ETH Lizards there, because obviously ETH Lizards has always been so tight with Illuvium, and maybe it'll help the partnerships even more. Maybe we can have another partnership outside of Battle in the Beyond and expand it a little bit more. There's so many things that ETH Lizards can do, and that's a fantastic project. Yeah,
no, for sure. Yeah, it's a super exciting time. Lou and Annie have been going crazy with scope and kind of plans. So it's all about to kind of come to fruition there as well.
Sorry, Najee, can I jump in? Yo, Nick, any alpha, anything that you can kind of drop about wagering? Is that even? Yeah, I don't know. I'll just leave that open ended. I'll leave that to you.
Yeah, I mean, as I say, there's quite a cool kind of AI powered project on the way, and it'll really sit at the center between all of the best Web3 games. I'll say that much, and I hope I haven't already said too much.
Awesome, Jimbo, you got a question here for Nick?
Yeah, so we've all been playing the betas a lot recently, right? Because We're all just waiting for the main net to come out so we can practicing on beta so we can be as efficient as possible. But what is one aspect of the games you think people may have missed that will surprise them when they actually go and play it on mainnet?
Yeah, I think the biggest surprise will be just how impactful really playing with your own assets finally is. Like even for me now, I played a lot of and did a lot of testing on my own on the land that I own on testnet. But now that it's the real deal, there's no wipes and we're going hard. It's just a completely different feeling. But then I would also say, like, I think something that will really surprise people in the future or once we've launched is just how quick the updates will come. One thing that is certainly true is that the past 3 years has been all about kind of building those really broad foundations across, multiple games, all of the infrastructure, web apps, account areas, you name it. It's very broad, and you don't get that really high impact. As I say, really high impact type features that are kind of being able to be dropped out of the gate. But now that we do have that kind of that base, I think the team will really be able to really focus in on what people want to see and knock those features together quickly and get them released. So I think we start to see a real avalanche of exciting features as well.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic. Hey, TSG, so my streaming software is a little crazy. Gonna need to use that link for the next person. But hey, thank you so much for coming on. I know you're working hard on the team right now, and you're just as excited as everybody else in the community right now.
Definitely, yeah. All right, but yeah, appreciate you guys having me on. Nick, always good to see you, man, and I'm sure we'll see battle out in the arena or whatever it is. All right, enjoy, guys.
Good luck.
Good one.
Peace.
But speaking of the arena, Nick, have you tried? I don't know if you got any early access to the Gauntlet. Have you tried that yet, or have you been watching it?
I have a little bit, but I haven't gone too deep in it. I mean, I played a lot of TFT previously, so I know what to expect. But I've been saving it mostly for once I'm playing, with my own assets, and once we're launched at least, right? So no, I've been grinding in WoW Classic, the kind of the Season of Discovery, and then also playing a lot of Illuvium Zero now. But yeah, once we're launched, I'll be going hard on Overworld, and then diving into Arena is kind of the way I'm letting it unfold.
Yeah, I don't even know what to do now because I can't even keep up with Illuvium Zero today. I don't know how I'm going to play any of the Overworld over the next week, but
I think we're really lucky we launched Zero 24 hours early just to give everybody with land a chance to kind of get up into those later stages where it takes multiple hours to start ticking things over, or else you'd just be like, yeah.
Did you buy some extra builders?
Yeah. yeah. I think that's huge out of the gate. So
yeah. No, I picked up one extra builder for each of my plots, and then a second builder for for my tier 3, and it's been pretty good having those extra builders there. I feel like I can make a little bit of progression here.
I don't even know what you guys are talking about. Like, what does that even mean?
Open up your land and play some Illuvium Zero.
After a week or two of playing Overworld, I will get into Zero.
The economy needs you. Go on.
Yeah, right? There's going to be people purchasing this fuel tomorrow, so we need your plots producing it.
That's it.
Maybe I'll
feed the nation
to work on it for me.
But so Nick, so what exactly are you doing with ETH Lizards? I'm just curious.
Yeah, so I mean, similar to kind of what I was doing at Illuvium, right? So a lot of just production type stuff or operations, and more in the operations side of things now with ETH Lizards, kind of helping Lou out there. Just kind of obviously project delivery, which is kind of like the bread and butter, but also just trying to kind of dip my toes in where I can and help out, basically. At Illuvium, it was being torn in so many different directions that I was getting a bit fried. But with ETH Lizards, we're able to really just focus in a bit, which is good. So the mind is feeling a lot better for that, for sure.
Thank you for your service.
Yeah. I was going to say thank you, because even just me being part-time on the team right now, I see how you can just get, pulled in so many different directions. You were also part of the the strategy sub council, when I was in there, and you did a ton of work just in the council, and that's not even like really part of the job. That was kind of just extra
Yeah,
on top of everything else you
totally,
were doing.
totally. Yeah, but also for the love of it, right? Like,
Yeah,
yeah, that's the thing where I say it is a bit bittersweet because I'm a gamer. I love what Illuvium's building, and but ultimately, for sure, the right call, right? So,
yeah. Have you been getting some rest now?
yeah. Well, that was the major issue. Like, a lot of the meetings were kicking off at 6 p.m. to midnight to 1 a.m. to early morning hours,
Yeah,
and just back to back for a couple of years it just got to a point, right? So.
yeah, yeah. It's definitely a little wild being on like so many different parts of the globe here. I mean, just
Mm,
TSG for example, he's exactly 12 hours off from me, so it's like
yeah.
I could be like getting ready to go to bed, and he's just like, "Hey, I just woke up. Like, can you go
Yeah.
check this out?" And I'm
The
just like,
amount of times I've been messaged like in the middle of the night, "Hey, jump on this stream." It's like, bro, I'm asleep. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Yeah.
no,
Yeah. Well, even
yeah, I was gonna say just last night it was like 11 p.m. for me, and I had already shut the laptop, everything, got into bed, and TSG's like, "Yo, hey, can you hop on a call real quick?" I'm like,
no, I can't.
yeah, here I come."
Yeah.
If Illuvium needs it, I'm all for it.
Yeah,
But
I heard that in the current interview. You mentioned that you're obviously working your full time job, but then also part time at Illuvium. So you've got some late nights there.
honestly, it's been pretty crazy, and including actually making some content and stuff. I'm on
Yeah,
that I'm honestly on that grind of like this isn't very sustainable, but I'm gonna see how far I can go until I break. And so far, you know, I've been
yeah.
doing it.
Watch out. Good work though. And this is why we used the Jafe and Jim Bruno's credit codes, right? We back the boys.
Yeah. Oh
Bro,
yeah.
as soon as you
So I do.
said that Nick's
I
face,
do.
I was like, that's
I'm
so
like,
funny.
yeah. Use my code. So when a bigger creator comes and he convinces you to change it, like at least I can get some help for the first month. Or
Yeah.
use Jimbo's code. Jimbo's got one too, right? What are you? Just Jimbo? Did he make it yet?
Jimbo, no, I haven't actually. I need to do that right now.
Go on and make it. It's probably going to be
Shill,
Jimbo's.
Jimbo. Shill it up.
I got it. I'll get it taken care of. It's fine.
Awesome. Oh man. Oh here we go. We got another person. Let's get him
Who's
in.
this?
Oh, there he
This
is.
is Scoriox.
Ranger.
Scoriox, nice to. I'm gonna switch Nick up here.
Howdy.
Glad to have you on.
Morning.
How you doing?
Yeah,
is it morning for you?
it's
Afternoon?
it's weird. It's weird for me. This is my first day of annual leave that I've got off.
Huge.
And so going to the shops at like 10 a.m. on like 9 a.m. on like a Thursday is weird.
It's awesome.
It is real weird.
How nice is that? Yeah.
Yeah, because I've asked so many times.
You've
Sorry,
got 2 weeks off, Scoriox?
Yeah, so I've got these 2 days, Thursday, Friday, and then 2 weeks. So yeah,
Oh,
2 and a bit.
yeah.
huge. That's awesome.
Yeah, that is nice. I took extra time off for my day job, but now I'm just working extra for Illuvium, so I feel like I'm just kind of just
That's a trap.
switching from one to the other.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've been asking you to come on this every once in a while, this rundown show, and I think you're always at work or something at this time.
Yeah, I mean, it's Thursday, 11 a.m. It would be weird if I wasn't at work.
Yeah. Well, we were just talking like it's tough to do everything that we're doing, having the day job, making content. You're on the council. It's so much.
It's
But glad
it's a lot of work, but I wouldn't change a thing. I just want to help out the community any way I can, and maybe I bite off a little bit more than I can chew sometimes. That's for sure. But just doing what I do.
Yeah. Awesome. So I got a question for you. Actually, you know what? We'll flip it back and ask the first question that everybody's going to ask. In 10 years, when we look back at this time in Illuvium, the early years, what are people going to be saying? What are you going to be saying?
We won't know until the launch itself, because what if the launch is a little bit slow to get off with? I think that would be like a really big talking point. But in general, I think people are going to focus on the good times. I think we've had a lot of ups and downs in the Illuvium community. I think Nick knows that better than anyone else. But
Hmm.
and it seemed like we've had some really dark times where everyone is upset at Labs and the council and everyone else, and we've gone through ebbs and flows. It's my third council now, so believe me, I've seen plenty of it myself. But I think after the launch, especially if Illuvium is doing well, even if it's not like Blizzard level, right? But like it's doing nicely, I think people are going to focus on they built all this stuff out in the open. There was lots of community input, or like at least a lot of it, not necessarily all of it, but most of it, and things like that. And I think that's what people are going to. Those times are a lot easier to remember. I think so. Yeah.
Yeah,
Awesome.
I would just add that I was kind of reflecting on that yesterday after seeing one of Sam Wither's tweets, and I think there has been so much input over the years from the community and the wider DAO that it's really been such a team effort as well. We've got, as I said, like 150 people at the coalface delivering. We've all been in the councils in one way or another and seen the amount of work and thinking and discussion that goes into those meetings. And so, I think just a huge team effort, right?
Yeah,
Oh, for
and I
sure.
think us being part of the council and the team, like I feel like we see this more than a lot of the community. But there really has been so many ideas that just came from somebody in the community, and it was just
Hmm.
like brought to the council into the team. Oh, that's a really good idea. Let's try to make it happen. And I know some of the people in the community will be like, we have so many ideas and none of them get implemented. But like, even if only 5% of the ideas get implemented, it's still the community that's bringing that to the team. Where a lot of other Web 2 traditional games, like they don't get any of that. They don't get any community feedback. They just put out a game and say, "This is our 10th generation of Pokemon. You're gonna buy it." We don't
Yeah,
need your feedback.
even games like RuneScape, where there are polls for the players to vote on different changes in the game, they're still not making the changes. We still have so much more what's the word I'm looking for? Agency than any other game in Web 2. So
I
that's people take it, or people overlook that and take advantage of that fact, I think, more than they should.
I think a good example is even the training gyms in Illuvium Zero. That's one of the big ones. I think the reason that that's getting through so easily, well, that's not the point I'm trying to make, but the reason it's doing so well is because it's simple to a certain extent, and it's really easy to implement and things like that. But more my point was, it's not even fully approved yet, and it's had some issues in the council with specificity or whatever it is. But Kieran on AMAs lately has been talking about it as if it already exists, and I think that says a lot. That like, if the community idea resonates really well with the team will implement it, and that's what it is. It's a team effort between everyone, and I think the community needs to remember that. And sometimes, like you said, like 5% of ideas, like if the community has 50 ideas and one or two of them make it through, that doesn't seem like that many. But the internal team is coming up with 50, 60 ideas every day, I bet. I think Nick could probably attest to that. But like, it's not like every idea gets through if the team says it. That's not really how it works. It only gets through if it's feasible, if it makes sense, if it helps the game. Like there's so much it has to go through, and it's going to be 1% of ideas no matter who you are.
And I will just add that I think we see more of it as well, because there was a real period, and I mean, it's been like 3 years, right, where the scopes are already so great that the team would just run off their feet trying to deliver. And then now that we're kind of getting our head above water, we can start saying, oh, there's some really cool ideas here. Let's start exploring these more and really digging in and seeing what we can kind of pick and pull from these. So I think we see more of it. But yeah, it is super exciting.
Yeah. And just when we were just thinking back, a little while at this point to the strategy subcouncil, we're talking 9 months ago. One thing that we kept hearing is like, we can't increase the scope too much right now. Like, great idea. Let's save it for 6 months from now. Save it for open beta. Like, fantastic idea. Now we're getting to that point where, okay, we're hitting open beta. So now those other ideas can start coming back and they can start being, passed in IIPs and start to be, implemented.
Yeah, I think the other thing is people's time is going to be very different now. In the past, it was very much, we're playing this game, but this game doesn't really have a purpose. And so we just want new features to try out because that's a lot more excitement. That's a lot more engaging. And now as we head into open beta, everything's on mainnet. And what that means is that people have a reason to play. They're going to get these NFTs. They're going to get all that stuff. They're going to make some progress that's not going to be reset. And so the focus isn't so much about we want the next update now, but that gives the team the breathing room to create those updates, but release them, just they'll release them at some point and that'll be super duper exciting. But the community's focus is going to be mostly on playing the game, or at least half on playing the game, and less completely focused on what's coming next for Illuvium.
Yeah. So I just want to say, Nick, thank you so much for coming on. Definitely want to have you back on the show again. Differently, maybe we could have you on talk a lot about eFidgets. But
That's
I do
good.
need that link for the next person. So stay.
Ciao, guys. Let's do
coming
it tomorrow. Excited to talk
Yeah.
tomorrow. I know Squirrels. I'll see you at some point. So peace, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll see you in the
See you,
Discord.
bud. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks, Nick.
Get the hell out of here. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. So Scoriox, one of the questions I had for you is, since you're like the Illuvium creator that I always feel like I'm trailing. I'm always like trying to play catch up to you. What's your plan for basically now from a content perspective? What do you have prepared for this week? What are you doing over the next 3 months? Maybe give me some advice, or any other content creator in this space. What should we be doing over the next 3 months to really, help out the community and grow our channels?
That's a very good question. I've been listening to an audiobook called The YouTube Formula, which is written by a man called Daryl Eves, who's like some sort of YouTube prodigy, content genius. He even helped Mr. Beast in some of his earlier days and helped him with his content strategy in particular. And so his insights have been really helpful. One of the big things I've learned is every channel is unique. And so you do need to consider that when I'm talking about what should a content creator do to grow, because it's different for everyone. But one of the big things I did recently that I found really helpful is actually figuring out what categories of videos you have for your channel. In my case, I have, I think I nailed it down to 6 main categories that get views. Everything else is basically not doing a whole lot for the community or for myself. And I might still make some videos, but some of the key ones were my analytics videos, which are very unique to me. Then the news videos, and then some interesting ones were beginner guides at killer with search. And then I have some more in-depth guides, which aren't as good, but they're great for search. And so everything has a different place on your channel. And making sure you do a mix of everything is very important. You need to do, like, if we put this on like a month-long schedule, let's say you need 2 videos that are really good for search. So your beginner guides in particular do really well. 2 videos that are really good for browse maybe. And those things are like more of my perspective videos, opinions, first impressions, that sort of stuff do really well in browse, as long as you have a killer thumbnail and title. And then you need 2 that are also quite good for suggested, but they tend to link off of your other stuff. So you want things that you've already got for browse, and you want videos that aren't the exact same thing, but they're similar. And so those 2 connect and stuff like that. And so you want to make sure you're diversifying across them. If you're a smaller channel, building for search is key. Personally, I found beginner guides do insanely well. I got something like 10,000 views on my Marvia beginner guide and 10,000 views on my Guild of Guardians beginner guide. And so that was my big focus leading up to this launch. Now, I don't have as many videos as I would have liked to have because I'm focusing on the 24-hour stream at the moment. Yep. But for example, I just released the Illuvium Zero beginner guide at a time that my audience is not awake, and it's already a 1 out of 10, right? I timed it with the launch. You've got to time these things as well. And I'm like, all right, Illuvium Zero is coming out first. Illuvium Zero beginner guide. I have 2 Illuvium Gauntlet videos coming out soon as well, because you need to understand the audience as well as you can. And when you see enough YouTube comments, Twitter comments, you ask your community enough questions, the patterns become insanely obvious. And every single time I play Gauntlet, everyone's like, oh, how do you play Gauntlet? I've never played TFT before. And that blew my freaking mind. I'm telling you guys, I've played TFT a bunch, and I just assumed, I know a lot of people are here from like a Pokemon background or a crypto gaming background. I cannot tell you how surprised I am that maybe 1% of the community knows what TFT is, or has played or seen TFT, knows the rules. That shocked me like you wouldn't believe. But once you get rid of all your own biases, because in my head I was like, TFT is easy to learn, easy to play. Once you get rid of those biases, it's really easy to go, oh, people need to understand how TFT works. They need the very core beginner basics. And so I made that video, and that's coming out soon. And I've made sure that it's unique to me and everything like that. And it's like about as beginner guide as you could possibly get. Like, explain like the UI and what it all means and stuff like that. Like, it's really in depth, but the better you understand your audience, the better your videos are going to be. It really isn't that much more complicated.
Yeah, I need to get that from you, because I'm still on that train of like, let me think of something. Oh, that sounds like a good video. Let me put it out there. I don't really have any rhyme or reason. I'm just like, even last night, I was just like, oh, I'm in the Discord. People are having trouble migrating this. I'm like, I'm going to capitalize on this. I made a quick video at like 11:30 last night, did a quick edit, put it up there, and it's a 1 of 10 on YouTube. So sometimes it's just being quick to the race. I was actually happy that I finally beat you to something, because I was like, every time I think of something coming up, I'm like, Scoriox already has a video on that, but I beat you to it.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. You don't even need to beat someone if the video is better than what they did, and that's very possible sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's not even about being fast to the race. If you could try and predict something like that, like, I mean, it's harder with like something like the migration. But I wish I had the time to build a getting crypto onto IMX tutorial. I'm planning on doing one of them today, because that's a huge question. Anyone new coming in that's crypto game, IMX is really complicated. Like, it seems easy for anyone who's just on IMX, but for anyone who didn't start on IMX, it's painful as hell. And so that's going to be a killer video. I recommend you do. If you beat me to it, then good. I hope people get the help they need. But I think where the difference is I don't know if you would have considered the individual users. In my case, I know that not only the title and thumbnail, but especially in the content, the tutorial needs to include those who are going straight from centralized exchange. It needs to include those that have a MetaMask, those that are moving between Passport wallets. I need to include these 3 things and try and make that clear to anyone clicking the video. And I'm not sure if you would have thought about all of those 3 things, which can make a really big difference.
Well, yeah, I do like to, have a more comprehensive video if I have time to think about it. But last night was one of those few times where I was just like, all right, something is needed right now. Let me see if I can put something together and get it out there. I definitely prefer the more quality over quantity thing. Like, I would rather have one video, like, well put together, as best as I could possibly do for a week, than have like 5 videos of just let me come up with anything.
Yeah, 5 videos that are like worthless and shitty, like Scoriox. So I mean, it is what it is. I'm just kidding. Scoriox makes great content.
No, well, I have that other unique problem where I'm working a 9-to-5 job, and so most of my videos have no editing; they're one take, and I'm trying to focus more on which videos to make, and the thumbnail and title, of course, and some of the really core elements of the script, things like the hook, the ending, and stuff like that. And so the middle of it's a little bit nonchalant. It's not very refined or concise, but it gets the job done. I think we, luckily, as content creators I don't know if it's extended to all of crypto gaming, but in the Illuvium space, we have a much older audience, which helps us so much more than you guys realize. It's insane. Like, if your audience is like 12-year-olds, then you've got to have like something on the screen every half a second. But our typical audience from my analytics is something like, I think 35 to 44 is a really 25 to 44, is like a really big demographic. The younger ones, not so much. And even a little bit older, that's quite a large demographic as well. And so they're a lot more interested in good information. And they're a lot, they don't really care about how much editing or how fast paced it is and all that sort of stuff nearly as much. They just care about getting the information they're after. And so that really helps us out more than you guys might realize.
Helps you out more. I would prefer to have the 12-year-olds personally.
Oh, Jimbo,
actually,
you can't make those kind of jokes.
That's actually not what I meant. I meant like younger audiences watch the kind of content I want to make, and that came out really, really bad in a way that I did not mean for it to. So that is, I'm just gonna stop talking. Actually, that's what I'm gonna
Dr.
do.
Disrespect is his idol.
No, we're not making those jokes. We're not making those jokes. It was literally just came out weird.
JP.
Oh, guys, how's it going?
Join us.
Good.
How you doing?
Oh, great.
What crazy stuff did Skoryak say before I came in here?
Oh, it was Jimbo who said the crazy stuff.
No.
We were talking about like a target audience for Illuvium. You know, Skoriox was saying 25 to 44. I was thinking, yeah, I'm right in the middle of that. Usually I would be old in a gaming community, but I feel like I'm right in the middle. But Jimbo, he wants to be he wants his viewers to be 12-year-olds. He wants to
Whoa!
just make
All right.
funny dances and let the 12-year-olds like
It came
laugh
out
at
a
him.
little bit worse than that, and I didn't mean for it to, but it is what it is. I want to make highly edited fun videos. There you go.
Okay, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna clip that.
You guys are so stupid.
So JP, the question that we've been asking everybody, so we'll start off with that one is, in 10 years, when we're looking back at Illuvium, the time we are now, these early days, what are we going to be saying? Especially from someone like you, like you're building in the Web3 space. Like you're one of those early people who saw something, you know, in this area. You're obviously bullish on it. You know, what are we going to be thinking of Illuvium in 10 years from now?
10 years.
Yeah,
I
2034, when Bitcoin's $1 million and we look
yeah,
back at
right.
Illuvium.
I think that I think it's going to be very similar in IP to that of Pokemon and stuff of that nature. I think that there will be probably I can't believe I'm saying this right after that debacle, but I think there probably will be more adoption of like younger kids that are coming in and like falling in love with the characters, and Jimbo will be their favorite creator.
Yeah.
And it's gonna no, but I think there'll be kind of this shift into. I think by then we'll have multiple different games out, probably all kinds of plushies and physicals, maybe a Netflix series or something. Like we'll be in 10 years, we're going to be pretty mainstream, I think. And I think a lot of us that are invested now will look back at Illuvium as kind of this pivotal moment where Web3 started to see adoption in gaming and where it started to make sense to people. So I think it's exciting. It's going to be a
Yeah.
bright future.
Yeah, and maybe I'm biased because Pokemon was a big part of my past. I think it was actually Scoriox was talking about it. Some people coming from a Pokemon background, some people coming from TFT. Pokemon is one of the things that really drove me to Illuvium, and like I feel like it was one of the first real IPs that just took over, and it might even be too bullish to think that Illuvium's going to do the same thing Pokemon did. But even if it does a fraction of what Pokemon did, like it could be something huge. And like you said, I think maybe a new game comes out. It's like Kart Racer or something that can be targeting a younger audience, and then we start bringing in that new generation that's going to grow up with Illuvium. You know?
Yep, 100%.
I think the thing is Pokemon. The more I look into this stuff and analyze this stuff, Pokemon really got big because of the anime, and that was part of building the IP and things like that. So I don't think Illuvium could really reach those heights until it has an entire media franchise backing it. But I am really looking forward to some sort of, even if it's a short movie, like a 20-minute movie, Illuvium movie, CGI or cartoon, doesn't really matter that much as long as it's consistent. I think that would actually be a really big deal for Illuvium in general.
Yeah, I'd love to see that kind of marketing, like a movie, a TV show, Netflix. I still remember when I was a kid going to like the Pokemon the first movie or whatever it was, and getting like a card from going to the show. And I'm pretty sure I still have that card.
Yeah.
It'd be cool to be able to scan something on a movie ticket and get an NFT from going to like the first movie for Illuvium. I always think of like it'd be cool if Illuvium had like toys with McDonald's, like a partnership with McDonald's. So you go to get a Happy Meal and you get a little toy, and maybe that comes with an NFT. The toy can be for the kid, and then the dad will get the NFT and load it up on the blockchain. Like,
Yeah.
I think that would be awesome. I can't wait to see like what happens over these next 10 years. It's really going to be incredible.
Yeah, your obesity crisis is not going to get better after that. Because there's so many parents, they're going to want that NFT so bad. They're going to get all the Happy Meals.
I'm gonna get Happy Meals every day for a month, and you know what? I'll enjoy it, and then I'll work it off the next month. But JP, so a question I have for you is, so obviously you're the CEO of Arcade. You're building, something in this space, Web3 space, you're looking at all these different Web3 gaming projects. I think I've heard you say you've looked at, over 200-300 of them at this point. What stands out from Illuvium that you kind of puts you a step above the rest? Like, I'm sure there's other great projects that you know of, but like obviously Illuvium is towards the top of that list. So what is it about Illuvium that you're bullish on?
Yeah, I think what first really attracted me to Illuvium, it was one of the first Web3 games that I really took an interest in, and it was one of Arcade's first investments also. And what really I think stood out initially was the obvious use case of kind of this intersection of a Pokemon-esque universe that's being created and how on-chain and NFTs and like a creature capture, that type of game makes a lot of sense for Web3. And then beyond that, two other main things. I thought the graphics were beautiful, even the super early concept graphics, right? Like I remember Atlas was like one of the first things I saw. It was 3-4 years ago at this point, and even then, back then, I was like, all right, this thing has like staying power. Like that is a cool looking little creature. Like people are gonna like this kind of stuff. And then lastly, the team. So I always research the team before Arcade invests in a group or in a game. We usually meet with the team, and the team makes a huge difference because there's lots of people. Kazi, my business partner at Arcade, says something that I think is very spot on. And it might be a common saying, I don't know, but basically ideas are cheap, right? Like anyone can get the idea, but actually executing on it, especially in an emerging industry like Web3 gaming, where there isn't this set precedent and the correct way to do it, you have to be bringing a team that has the talent and the execution ability to come in and do something that's cutting edge. And this team really has that. And back then it was Von Neumann, right? But you look at the quality of the art and the story behind the person that's doing the graphics and the animation. You look at the fact that the Warwick brothers are like this titan of industry. Like I looked into Kieran's past businesses and like the things that he's done in entrepreneurship. I looked into Kane. I looked into all this stuff, and I'm like, okay, all of these different moving pieces are really coming together in the right way. Kane has the industry connections necessary to raise funding. Kieran has the entrepreneurial background. This Von Neumann character is like some crazy artist. Aaron is like this genius game designer that hasn't had his time in the spotlight yet. It's like you look at all those different things, and the team just was too good to not be bullish on. And that's kind of what got me into it initially. And I think for a lot of other games, when you're stacking up against a team of that caliber and a team that ships product that is as high quality as Illuvium does, you really stand apart from most of the competition. There are some other games that are building in a similar fashion, but they are few and far between.
Awesome. And speaking of Von Neumann and Grant Warwick, the graphics were one thing that really drew me in. The Pokemon style that looked like that had the adult graphics basically. But I'll do a semi little spoil here. Our next guest, our fifth guest, is supposed to be Grant. I did talk to him last night, and he said he was going to join. He hasn't responded to me yet, but I just hit him up on Discord here. We'll see if he responds. I don't know. Maybe he forgot. But Grant could be joining us in the next 5 minutes, and if he does, he needs to use your link, Scoriox. So, Scoriox, thank you for coming on. We'll be in touch. We're always talking in the council and the Discord about different things. But thanks for making time to come on. I know you're just waiting to get back to Illuvium Zero.
It's been fun. Thanks for having me on today. I haven't been playing a whole lot of Illuvium Zero, trying to save it for my stream.
Yeah, playing as we speak.
But no, I'm glad I got to finally come onto a rundown. Since I have time off work, and who knows, maybe the next 2 weeks I might be able to come on again if you need while I have my time off. But yeah, it's been good. Have a good one, guys.
More videos.
Have a good one.
Thanks for coming on, Scoriox.
More videos.
See ya.
More videos. Yeah, JP he couldn't figure something out, so I was like, "Oh, just watch the video I just made last night."
His video
It
did help
solved the
me.
problem, right?
It did. It solved the problem pretty much instantly. Um, and Scoriox was giving me crap earlier because I think you might be in that. Oh, it was this chat, right? Giving me crap about how I don't know the basics of Illuvium Zero apparently. So I'm gonna watch Scoriox's beginner guide.
Yeah. Well,
I
I
thought
mean,
I knew
some
what
things
was
have
up,
definitely
but
changed. You
yeah.
can't look back at the guides from a year ago at this point because it's it almost feels like a whole new game.
hmm
But have you been? How many lands are you playing right now? Actually, because I
I'm
know
play.
between you and I know Arcade has a ton of them, right? But yeah,
Yeah.
how many are you playing?
Yeah, I am playing 8 tier 1s and 1 tier 3. So when I was buying
Oh,
land, I really wanted to have one of each region, and then I doubled up on a couple of them that were just too good to pass up, and then I got
that's
a tier
brutal.
3. But yeah, the tier 1s are brutal, and
Yeah,
I mean it's fine. I'm very much a collector, and that's another reason why I love Illuvium. But I'm very much a collector in the sense that like I wasn't gonna buy um, one of each region for like a tier 3 or a tier 4. But I was like, I can at least get one of each region just to have one of each and do tier 1s of them, and then I'll get a tier 3 that hopefully carries me with the fuel production.
yeah,
But yeah, I've
yeah.
been
I know some other people who've tried that or who went about that strategy. Um, I didn't go that strategy. I was just like, my goal during that land sale was let me just get the highest tier I can get. I thought it was only going to be a tier 2. I thought that was the best I was going to do. But then I think it dropped to like the right price point, and I was like, I'm jumping and I'm getting that tier 3. Um, so I'm glad I get the tier 3 and that's really honestly today that's the only thing I've really been playing. I can't keep switching between all of these. The tier 1s feel like I can't get anywhere because I'm so used to that tier 3 where it's just like
yeah
nonstop. But I couldn't imagine flipping between 8 tier 1s right now.
yeah yeah. I just
Like,
have
have
it
you done
basically on.
anything else all day? Have you even worked today
Not really. I did. So my
out
team
of
is out.
office?
My team is out in Nashville or headed to Nashville for the Bitcoin conference, and so fortunately, I guess it's a little bit quieter around the office since a lot of guys are getting ready to travel and stuff. So I did a little bit of work, but I've had my iPad up next to me, and I've mostly just been flipping like between the different plots all
Yeah,
day, trying to get caught up here and then yeah, we got to get the mission pools for arcade set up. Because the
yeah,
team's gone in Nashville, we probably won't launch them until Monday, but we're gonna hopefully start the process of actually managing them today. And
yeah.
the whole IMX passport thing threw us for a loop a little bit because we like to keep our land in cold storage, but
Me too.
we'll
I was a
we'll
little
get through it.
scared to. Yeah, I was a
Yeah.
little scared to move my land, but I was like, I got to do it.
hmm
Um, yeah, but actually, speaking of that, the conference coming up. I mean, what's your take on? Well, let's just go with Trump. What's Trump gonna say? Is this gonna be bullish?
Yeah, I think it probably will be. I got to be careful not to get too political. But yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be bullish. Having two presidential candidates there is definitely bringing out um, it is making crypto a bipartisan issue. It's becoming
Yep.
clear that there will be regulatory clarity. Like it's just a matter of time, which is good for all of us. Um, and it makes it easier for companies like Arcade to build. It makes it easier for companies, like Arcade is a startup and Illuvium. In order for it to scale to the next millions of people, it makes it easier for that to happen when there's regulatory clarity. Um, but I think it's going to be a really good week. This conference every year is usually a bullish catalyst of some kind, and um, the chart looks like it wants to rip. Not financial advice.
Yeah,
It's dipping right now, I
a
think,
little
but
cool down today. Yeah,
yeah, little cool down. But I think we end the week strong, and yeah, I think it's looking good.
yeah. I mean, I have never been like a political person, but like I can't remember a president even mentioning Bitcoin ever before, or prospective president. It's crazy
Yeah.
that, like you said, we get two out of the three, right? Because we got
Mhm.
RFK in there too, who would he'd be very bullish for crypto. But yeah,
Yeah.
Technically, it's 2 out of 2 right now, but I mean,
Yeah.
2 out of 2,
Semantics.
yeah, yeah. Who
Um,
knows? Maybe Kamala has some ETH, in a hidden wallet somewhere.
yeah, and JD Vance has
Mm.
disclosed like above 250,000 Bitcoin
yeah.
position. I guess they have to disclose that kind of stuff. And Trump has been friendly to the industry in a way that I think he wasn't last cycle. I think he's kind of determining now that it's becoming more of a voter issue for people. It's catching a little bit more attention, and RFK, of course, yeah. I mean, he's even went as far as to say he wants to back, basically provide the transparency for the Federal Reserve on chain and stuff, and like that's above and beyond what I think most people are going to allow to happen. But just the fact that we have 2 of 3 or 2 of 2 presidential candidates talking about and saying the word blockchain, I think is bullish for our industry, certainly.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to be watching those. I'm sure I can watch them somewhere, right? They'll be streamed
Yeah, they
on.
should be. They should be streamed. Usually, I didn't. I'm obviously not going out to Nashville this year, but they should be streamed. Yeah, and if anyone watching this is headed out to Nashville, hit me up. We have several of our guys there. Sure, they'd love to meet up.
Awesome. Jimbo, I don't know. Do you have a question for JP here? While we wait to see if anyone else hops in here.
Sorry, I was.
You're good.
Yeah, so my question basically was I was just interested in what your opinion was on how big the sorry, give me 1 second.
You're good.
How big can the market for items, accounts, cosmetics, etc. get if Web3 gaming were to take over, and how big of an impact is lending going to be for that situation specifically?
Yeah, I think so. The thing with cosmetics generally are I see it as a transfer. It's a change in just the way that money is transferring hands compared to how it is currently. So a lot of obviously in traditional gaming, you're padding the pockets of these big studios when you're just buying skins and stuff, and you have no ownership of it. In Web3, that's obviously a different scenario, and I think Gary made a good point on it. Might have been Jave's AMA, or maybe it was Squareox, but he made a good point that um, the direction that he sees this going is that it'll be peer to peer cosmetics generally. You'll buy the cosmetics from someone else that has minted it or created it, and it will the studio benefits by a transaction fee or some kind of fee, but it's not getting the principal sale of that. And it builds this economy around these cosmetics, and the cosmetics themselves are capped a little bit in value by what kind of utility and collector value they have. If it's something that is very rare, some of this stuff could get really expensive. If it's stuff that's being churned out and it's like common, but still, something that people, because I mean, you think about people buy skins off of these Web2 games with no expectation of rarity or no expectation of resale value. So you'll still have that group of people that are okay buying the same skin that almost everyone else has for $3 from someone else. Um, and then, as far as the value of the actual core NFT assets, that really depends on player base and how much. I mean, we've got what 20,000 plots of land. I mean, if we explode to 100,000 players, that's very quickly going to react to the or land value is going to react to that as more and more people come into the ecosystem. So I think it is a little bit flexible in that way, but and then yeah, I mean lending's kind of a tricky one because Arcade benefits from lending technology because it makes our mission pool process easier. It makes it easier for us to have a trustless or non-custodial way to um, delegate access to certain plots or whatever to gamers that then conduct mission pools with them. But I think that I think the games that build in their own in-game lending systems are probably going to come out on top just because they're able to charge transaction fees on a lot of those processes. Third parties, while they still solve the same problem often, it's a little bit harder to integrate with. It's a little bit harder to for the studio to capitalize on the traffic that's going through. Like Big
Yeah.
Time has their own in-game kind of delegation system, and they make tons of money, just crazy amounts of money from fees
I bet.
by allowing for that process to happen. So I think lending, the games that do it as a studio, as their own like product or studio, will see lots of revenue come from those things. Third parties are great; they fill gaps where it's needed, so that the studio can focus on other things. But inevitably, it lowers the barrier to entry for people to come in and use NFTs they may otherwise not be able to afford.
Yeah, and I like the way Illuvium's doing it. Like you said, it's not Illuvium's not selling that many things directly to the consumer. It's more like, here's a game, you go in, you can farm these resources, put in the time to create these assets, whether they're the core NFTs or the skins, and then transact between the different community members. It's it's more that peer to peer than it is that B2C.
Yeah, I think that's definitely the direction the industry is going, and I think for good reason.
Awesome. All right. So at this point, unfortunately, Grant told me he was going to come. I don't think he's going to make it. Maybe he's sleeping. But I don't think he's going to come on. So we're going to end this now. JP, thanks for coming on. Jimbo, I think this has been a good show. It's the first episode live. Actually, leave in the comments if you like the idea of having these rundowns live. We could definitely do this more often, or I'm even thinking maybe at some point we just make the rundown show a live show, because it actually makes it a lot easier than having to go through and kind of edit things. When we do it live, it's just like we screw up, we got to get it out anyways because it's live.
I think we screwed up less today than we ever have before.
No,
ironically,
honestly, just yesterday when I was live with Kieran and then live today, it's almost like that pressure of your live that you can't screw up.
Yeah,
It's
you
like
have to be on the whole
it's like
time.
you need to just, because there's so many times on our recordings where we're just like, let me think about, like, let's cut that part out, and now it's just like, well, that's not an option anymore, so we're going with it.
Exactly.
But yeah, everyone, thanks for watching. Thanks for being in the chat. Again, let us know if you like doing this live. And JP, thanks for coming on. And tomorrow, we're finally, after 3+ years, we got Illuvium, the overworld coming out. Illuvium 0 has already started. If you haven't started playing yet, I would definitely get in on that. These next few months, few years, it's going to be incredible. I can't wait.
It is.
Go.
All
right.
Love it. Thanks,
all right.
Guys.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye-bye.